recording. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're good now. I did not record 5 wide racing at Las Vegas for nothing, so that was pretty insane. 5 wide through the tri-oval. Wow. Some things you will only see in the Fathom Cup Series, and that is one of those things. Some pretty intense racing so far. I'm a fan. Well, hello, fan. Verge of Shadows got into the wall there on the XC4. As of right now, Silver will now lead the pack. Oh, Kyoto with a big bump from Cuter, another fellow D1 driver. Kyoto might not be happy at of that one later on. A little warning there. Stop it with the bumping through the middle of the corner. I will start to get penalties if so. Now, obviously, if they get shoved up there, like what happened to Wilmot and Silver, I will not get a penalty for that. But some boy, you gotta chill out on those. Everybody, just chill out on those little bumps. You'll gain more of a run. You know. Now 4 wide through turn 1. Silver will somehow get a massive run through all of that. We'll get a ton of grip. 3 wide has been a common aspect of this race. No 3 wide right now, but a lot of double file racing. I love being forced up, says Wilmot over his chat radio, as I like to call it. Oh, Cuter now hits the wall. NLS has found his way back into the pack. I guess that draft, very, very strong. And just like last year, pack racing at Las Vegas. One of the only intermediates where we constantly see pack racing. Okay, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing up on the wall there? I know y'all lost time, but still. Don't get up on that wall. Oh, and now Cuter and Verge of Shadows. Looks like 2 road racing veterans will now collide. Lag, says Verge. That will affect Cuter big time. Should be able to catch up to the pack for sure in draft range. Looks like we have 6 cars dueling it out for the race lead. 3 wide for it. Almost 4 wide for a moment. We have a couple of cars on the outskirts just chilling, and Tet is the first DNF of this race. DNFing on just the first couple laps due to lag concerns. Gavin, still impressive in his almost debut. This is his 2nd race in the Fathom Cup Series. This time, oh, Silver, very, very sideways. The lag is wild. I'm not getting any lag whatsoever. But, oh, wow! Now some boy will get turned. I don't know what happened there. I think he bounced off a couple cars and he got sideways. But that will take him back a couple spots. It'll thin out this pack just a tad bit. Driver's going all over the place, going a little berserk in the first couple laps. Okay, get off the wall. I'm watching you guys in the back. I'm watching you guys in the back. And now almost 4 wide for the race lead. That's going to force Metal up into the fence, and he'll get into his teammate, but that'll actually give him a run. Now 3 wide down the front straightaway. I wonder when pit stops are going to come into effect here. I don't know what the fuel is looking like right now, but I'd assume it's around 1,000, maybe just a tad under. These guys did respawn their cars on the 2nd, 3rd lap of the race-ish, which will play a slight role. We'll be working a lap 15 this time, so around 30% into the race this time around. It's been about 7-ish minutes since we dropped the green flag from the redo. Redo cleanup took like a couple minutes for sure. Looks like the pack's thinned out a little bit, but massive checkups for the lead have resulted in this pack getting back together. It looks like this pack racing is going to happen all day long. We might see it thinned out a little bit from the pit cycle. As we know, some drivers unfamiliar with that, with the LFR pit boxes. You got to come in, you got to click the button, and you have to be patient, wait a couple seconds for the button to pop up. Not the button, the pit box, little gray thing to pop up, and then once that gray thing pops up, you go out and away with your fuel. We saw some drivers not very happy with the new pitting system. But we believe it is for the best. Now Wilmot bouncing off several drivers, trying to get to the front of this field with his 97 practice laps in the bank. Couple laps for qualifying, couple laps so far in this race. This probably surpassed about 125 laps total so far on this circuit. And now, 4 wide for the race lead. Wilmot will send it. It'll be a nice little send from the 51 car, and he will lead a lap here at Las Vegas. And now it's 3 wide all around. 3 wide for first, 3 wide for 5th place. Looks like Wilmot will back out on the inside, maybe trying to get a run through the middle of the corner. He'll get a bump from NLS. And now they'll still be 3 wide for the race lead. Now it'll be 2 wide between Ichiban Racing Dynamics teammates. Oh! Speaking of that, Super Ultra Noob will get turned sideways. He'll lose a couple spots, but he will save it. Speaking of teammates, like I said, we now have the Full Send Racing cars all tightly together in this little pack. You got 2 Ichiban Racing Dynamics cars, you got Cuter, and then you got 3 Full Send cars. Interesting racing. So far, for sure. So now there will be 3 wide again. Almost 4 for a moment there. Drivers actually being somewhat smart. In this style of racing, it's very easy to start wrecking, like just what happened there with Metal, who looks like he turned down on the nose of 57, maybe bounced off the wall or got a little, maybe got a little loose off the corner or something. I don't know. Wilmot says it was the 57's fault. Race officials issue it's a racing incident, and they will ongoing, no penalties. I'm still watching the bumps with you guys. Watch the bumps. Watch the bumps. Seems like the wall has been okay. Hasn't really been an issue. There's just been sort of just the send. Majority of the races from here on out, we won't have this sort of send to get your position type of racing. The intermediates are typically single file, but this one, it's just this specific model always brings some sort of pack racing to the table. We saw it in Season 1 under M9 setups. We saw it in Season 2 under Ichiban setups, and we've seen it now in Season 3. And these are sort of Ichiban setups. Still, me and Ichiban have kind of co-created. Seems like they've thinned out quite a little bit over those incidents, and now you got to start to wonder, when are they going to pit? The midpoint in this race is lap 27. You'd think that they might want to split it then, or you might just want to go the longest you can on the existing fuel load. But you also have to start thinking you might want to pit like this is a super speedway. You know, you don't want to come, as the famous line suggests, you don't want to come with one of your friends, but you don't want to come with too many. And that might just play an effect here, as you see. The car is definitely faster when they have this draft. Yeah, clipped. These cars definitely faster when they have the draft, but at the same time, you probably don't want too many. You don't want to go double filed 3 wide. You don't want to start wrecking. So it's going to be interesting. This pit's going to be interesting. We might see team orders play into effect here. As you see this, the full send cars looking very strong right now. Currently running 2, 3, and 4. Only hindrance in the way is Cuter, who is currently in the race lead. And now gets, I think, bumped up by the 75 of Silver. Cuter will not get the run on the corner the outside typically provides, and he will fall back behind the 75. Might not have been too happy about that bump there. He might send it right back onto him. And it looks like he will. Virgin Shadow says he has an idea. Maybe trying to get some pit strategy here for these guys. Still have to wonder how long can they go on this fuel load. You'd think now that they're probably around halfway down on their tank. Maybe a little less. I have no idea what your guys' fuel is at right now. Unless we'll get sent into the wall, but he will get back to time. Less than 750? What is y'all's fuel right now? 575? Okay, so right around. I have Odia. So I'm currently... Oh! Cuter now into the outside wall. These drivers are starting to get a little more antsy now. So it seems the fuel, everybody's fuel is around 500 to 650. So that's about the range right now. These drivers could probably go until lap 30, and then they have to pit. But obviously, you want to stretch it out as much as you can right now to ensure you can make it to the end on a one-stop. So as these drivers jockey for position, they also have to think at the same time about what their pit strategy is going to be. Who are they going to go to the pits with? And more importantly, not coming with one of your friends, but not coming with all of them. Oh, and now sideways. Ichiban will go sideways. Ichiban will get spun round. Hard impact. It'll be a one-car incident. We will stay green. Bad luck for Ichiban. He should probably be able to catch up. I don't know if he's in draft range. Might just be on the outskirts of it. Little interesting there. Now Wilmot will tag the wall. Wilmot now not happy with the 19. Little warning for Cuter there. Honestly, I didn't even see what happened. It looked like you pinballed off of like 7 cars and then just got sideways and just went out to the outside of all of them and spun around. So the pack has single filed out just a tad bit, but it seems like they will all get back to their pack racing ways soon. And there it is, first pitter. Verge of Shadows says he's coming this time. But well, the question is, will he come with one of his friends, or will he come with too many? Or will he come with the perfect amount? Silver says he's going to stretch. I believe his Full Send Racing teammates will do the same thing. Okay, Wilmot, watch this in, watch this in. It looks like, oh, and what has happened here? It looks like Cuter will come with them, and now pit stops. So remember, once you get into your pit box, you have to click the button. Sometimes you have to click it a couple times, but then you'll have to wait a couple seconds for the gray box to appear, and then once it appears, you have your fuel and you're good to go out. So Cuter will now sit in the pits for a second. He'll get his gray box, and now he's out. Verge Shadows will get his gray box. He is out as well. Cuter will come out a little ahead, probably because of that LFR pitting experiences. He has much more experience with the LFR pit boxes. And now, those two cars will come out about halfway, about half a track's length away from these guys. They'll come out, actually a little more. They come out in turn 2. Verge of Shadows will be way off of Cuter. And the pack is now rounding turn 2 as Cuter and Verge of Shadows go into turn 3. Probably not the best strategy call. But now here comes everyone. Now as we get the halfway point in this race, it seems like everybody's now trying to come down in the pit road. Kevin Harvick says he's coming this time. Who else is going to come this time? Looks like it'll just be Kevin Harvick, but he does have friends back in little more than half the track away, so potentially he could link up with those guys. We'll see what happens there. So now as he waits in the pit box, he's clicked the button. He'll have to wait a tad. Gets the gray box, and now he's good to go. Now we have Gavin saying he's going to pit, and Kyoto. Many drivers now starting to come to the pits this time, getting a little low on fuel. And for the first time this season, real green flag pit stops. He had a little bit in the Daytona 500, but first for D2. So now as they come in, they'll pull into the pit box, click the button, and wait a little bit, and then they'll be on their way out when the gray box appears. So everybody should be able to make it on fuel now, so they'll both click the button. Kyoto messes up placement a little bit, it seems. Gavin gets the gray box, he's good to go. Kyoto gets the gray box, he's good to go as well. They said they can go way longer, so they can definitely stretch it here. Looks like that's what Silver's going to do. Because in the case of overtime or more yellows, you know, you have to use some of that extra fuel to get lined up. You have to use some of that extra fuel for the extra laps. 34 is the fuel window, apparently. So maybe some of those guys, they could have potentially pitted too early. And if overtime or more yellows break out, they could be in fuel danger. But obviously, if a yellow does break out, they can just pit then and top off. So it doesn't seem like it'll matter too much there. The cars in the pitted pack are way spread out. And now as we look at the cars that are still in the pack, right now we have 4 cars in there, Ichiban on the outskirts. And as they are 4 cars, there's 3 wide for the race lead. So interesting there. No real team strategy. Ichiban Racing Dynamics could go together, which I assume is what they'll be doing. They're gonna need Ichiban's gonna need a fast pit stop to get back in that pack, though. Looks like the lead pack is kind of bouncing off each other, but they might be sniffing the draft of the cars in front of them. 5 cars in the pitted pack, 5 cars in the main pack. Will anybody pit this time? Looks like Silver says he's coming in. I believe NLS would come in this time as well. It's his teammate, after all. But Silver, he does have cars behind him. Silver's going to try to get in. He will hit the pit limiter. NLS will miss the pit limiter, so he'll have to go back around again. Silver has a great pit entry, barely clipping it. Getting just enough there. He will click the box, wait for it to turn gray. It'll turn gray, and he is out and away. It looks like a very, very fast pit stop there for Silver. And it looks like he'll come out ahead way ahead for the race lead. Had an incredible pit entry, just full sent it in and barely clipped the limiter. And he will come out way ahead of this main pack. And when I mean way ahead, I mean way ahead. An entire quarter track length ahead. The entire length of the back straightaway. And somehow has the absolute perfect pit cycle. And will come out way ahead. Now as we look at this main pack again, Ichiban has kind of caught up to these 3 cars still left in the main pack. We look at the existing other pack right now, quite spread out. We have Silver half, about a quarter of the track away. And then you have Cuter, Gavin, and P3 of that pitted pack. If you look at who has not pitted yet. So the drivers that have not pitted as Verge of Shadows will now fall a lap down is, I believe it's Someboy, Metal, NLS, and Ichiban. Yes, Peter, what happened? What happened? So now Someboy says he's going to pit this time. The 4 cars still left in the main pack are going to pit. Can Someboy, might get a little tight here with Verge of Shadows. Someboy will barely clip the pit limiter there. It'll be a great pit entry for him, and another great pit entry for NLS. Looks like these guys could both come out ahead and maybe challenge Silver. Oh, Someboy will hit the pit wall. That's going to be bad for him, as now they both click that box and wait until the gray box will show up. NLS gets it. It looks like he's got his fuel, but oh! Does he get his fuel or not? I think he was a little ahead of his box. Both of them, minor mistakes on their pits, but a great entry otherwise, as now the other drivers will now come to pit road. Ichiban will come to pit road this time a little ways off. It looks like Verge of Shadows will get mixed up with some pit troubles, and he'll lose a little bit of time. Metal is now into the pits, and so is his teammate Ichiban. These guys both know about that LFR pitting system, and they're both very good at it, so we'll see if they can come out maybe ahead of these cars here. I don't believe they'll come out ahead of Silver because they lost a lot of time. And as you see now, Silver versus the cars on pit road, it's going to be close, but Silver will come out ahead. Metal looks like he'll filter out in the 3rd, maybe the 2nd spot, and Ichiban will filter out 4th. A lot of drivers that are familiar with this pitting system, looking very good so far. And now as the pack is spread out, we got Silver in the lead. It seems like, yeah, every single driver has come to pit road now. So Silver is in the lead. A couple seconds off of him, you got Metal. And right behind Metal, you got Someboy. A second or 2 off of Someboy, it's Ichiban. Behind Ichiban, you got Cuter, Gavin, NLS, Kyoto. And then behind that, it's Wilmot. And then it is Verge of Shadows. That is your top 10. Only driver outside of the top 10 is Tet, who had a DNF early on in this race. 17 laps to go from Vegas, 16 this time. Silver looking for his first ever D2 win. Behind him, you got Metal, who just won last weekend, also trailed by Someboy. Someboy does have a D3 win last year in one of the craziest finishes at Darlington, where it was a photo finish that we had to look at for 5 minutes before we could determine the winner. That's how close it was. I mean, it was absolutely insane how close that finish was back there. At least Someboy. The lead pack, there is no defined real lead pack, but Silver is currently in turn 3. It seems like there's a little bit of a pack starting to form behind him, and that pack is about 3 seconds off and gaining. Someboy is all over the back bumper of Metal trying to bump draft him. We know the bump draft is very strong. They were 3.7 seconds back. They have gained 7/10 that lap on Silver. It looks like they will catch up. But they've got to keep doing what they're doing. Ichiban's still 4 seconds off, and it looks like the drivers behind, following in the draft, the footsteps of Metal and Someboy trying to follow and hang on. You've got Kyoto kind of rounding out that sort of lead pack. Then you've got Wilmot in 9 to 15 seconds back. And Verge of Shadows, who was a lap down earlier, has now gotten back on the lead lap due to the pit cycle. And he is now 18 seconds off. Both those drivers probably just waiting out for a yellow, which seems like it could happen. I mean, that was some berserk racing, but I believe they could definitely go a little crazier. However, no gain that lap for the second place car of Metal. We saw him gain 7/10 the previous lap, but this lap, absolutely no gain on your race leader. So could this have been an awesome strategy called by Silver here, starting out a little late, but also having an absolutely great pit sequence, maybe trying to pick up a win here for Full Send Racing. Forge says he's trusting his pit strategy. Went for the undercut maybe there a little bit. Looks like now Metal has gained 3/10 that lap, now 2.7 behind the race leader, 13 laps to go. Can these guys catch up to Silver? It looks like they definitely could, but I don't know if they have enough time. Coming back to 12 laps to go, it looks like the gain on median is about 2, 3, maybe 4/10 a second. It's going to be close. I don't know if they'll catch up to the 75 car. Oh, Metal will slide up the racetrack. Here comes Sunboy to the inside. He will now take second place away. I don't know if Sunboy got in the back bumper of the 1 car for that or not, but now it looks like they're battling for the race lead. 2.4 seconds is now the gap, coming back to 11 laps to go. It was 3.7 seconds with 16. They've gained a second in 5 laps, but they've got to keep doing what they're doing. Obviously, it looks like they want to fight right now, but if they want any chance at this race lead, if they want any chance at this trophy, if they want any chance at today's race, the Bojangles 250, they've got to push, they've got to work together.
And that's the thing, Fathom. Can they put their differences aside to work together to get up to the 75? If they don't, I don't think they'll have enough time to get to them.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I mean, Metal just put the bumper to the back of the 5 car right there. He took that second place position back, but look at that. They gained a ton of time last lap. Now the gap, 2 seconds. 2 seconds to the race leader. Sunboy has experience, Metal has experience. They know what they need to do, and it looks like they're going to catch. And now, here comes Ichiban. Ichiban starting to gain a little bit on the 2 cars in front of him. We could have a multi-car tandem now catching up to this race leader. Gap is still 1.8 seconds with 10 laps to go.
Now the 75 needs to be almost perfect here to be able to hold on to this lead. And then even if he's perfect, I'm not too sure.
I don't know if it'll be enough either, yeah. The gain has been, over the last 7 laps, they've gained 1.8 seconds.
75 slides up the track, has to lift a lot.
Yeah. That leader needs to be perfect, needs to be a little more perfect than that, you'd assume. And now we see the gap here, 1.5 seconds with 9 laps to go. And now that they can sniff the draft of the 75 car ahead of them, I think that gap's going to start closing a little more exponentially.
Second place car on the wall, off of 2.
Well, you can merge it, but you're not gonna get your lap back. Wait, what happened to you? Oh, Wilmot. Oh, it just went back there. All right, so let's see what the gap is this lap. It was 1.5, and now they can see him bigger in the windshield, 1.4. It's gonna. I don't know. I think it's gonna be close. The
now
gap.
You're gonna have to wonder. Can the 75 stay calm, not panic?
Yeah, he's got to drive that Gen 6 car, that 75, to perfection out here. Metal now gives an order to the 5 car. He says, stop bumping me in the corners. He wants that bump shaft on the straightaway, but he wants to stay clean and calm and collected through the corners. We'll see if they can catch him here. I think they've closed the gap just a tad bit. The gap now 1.2 seconds, 7 laps to go from Las Vegas.
Now, what would be going through the 75 car's head right now?
Oh, I don't even want to know. I have been in this position quite a couple times in my little row racing experiences myself. It is not a fun one. Doing everything you can, running the perfect race of your life, and you can't do anything but just keep trying to run it until those cars behind you catch up. But I don't know, maybe he could do it. It looks like they could have gained a little more this lap. The gap now this time, exactly 1 second. 6 laps to go from Vegas.
Now that draft might be pulling him up towards the leader. The leader has to stay calm. He needs to run some ideas through his head as these 4 cars will come up on him here with coming 5 to go.
Yeah, but as they all say, it's one thing to catch up to the car in front of you. It's another thing to pass them. Well, you have seen the bumping is practically the main way to pass around this racetrack. Obviously, if that happens towards the last couple laps of the race that probably won't be very happy with they probably won't be very happy with the official's decision afterward. Yeah, I'm not going to allow a little bump and run for the race win there. So they're going to have to figure out a way to get past him as well. But the gap now, 0.8 of a second. They're getting 0.2 a lap with 5 laps to go. I think they'll get to the back bumper by the time the white flag comes out.
I think if he could just hold on, maybe block for a couple laps. But of course, it needs to be a clean block, not where he hooks himself with 4 to go here.
So look at that. Look at that. Team orders there. NLS actually drops a couple spots, and he falls back to try to help his teammate. He's going to give the 75 car draft he needs to stay ahead of this one in the 5. Little bit of team players there for NLS. Really interesting. NLS wants Silver to win so bad for his race team. You can see it there. Just trying to give the 75 a little bit of draft, just giving a little extra to win here. But that one in the 5, they're closing up on that back bumper. 4/10 the race lead with 3 laps to go. Oh, Metal slips up a little bit. He hits the apron, and he will go sideways, sliding up the racetrack. And now coming with 2 laps to go. Now they're side by side for second. A very bad corner there for Metal. He'll let the 5 car clear in an attempt to catch up. 2 laps to go. I think they've lost a little bit of time on the 75 because of that affair, though. And now battling again. The 1 now to the inside.
He's going to nearly put him in. He puts himself and 3rd place car into the wall.
2 laps to go. The gap has now been stretched out by a couple tenths. I don't know if they can get there. 2 laps to go. They're going to now start to bump each other harder in the corners, try and do anything they can to catch up to this race leader. But I don't know if it'll be enough. Silver with an 0.8 lead on the back straightaway. Coming to the white flag. Going to be a team win here for Full Send Racing.
And the white flag is going to drop.
1 lap to go from Vegas. Silver trying to hang on for his first ever D2 win.
Turns 1 and 2 for the final time.
75 stays perfect. Nothing out his rearview mirror for about 10, maybe 15 car lengths. Only thing he sees out front is his teammate. Now, to 3 and 4 for the final time. He stayed perfect all day. Perfect pit strategy. Perfect everything. And now as he comes off turn 4, it'll be a real team win here for Full Send Racing. Silver Bullet wins at Las Vegas. Win number 1 for Silver.
That first one's always special.
Oh, it is. And he's already burning it down in turn 1. And he will put his man on top of the hood. It is a team victory there for Full Send. I don't know if Silver could have hung on without a little bit of help there from his teammate NLS. And now he burns it down. What a win for Full Send Racing. What a win for Silver. And could potentially be the first win of many.
The drive for 5. Hey, Fathom.
Yep.
What class are you in iRacing?
A class.
Oval?
Yep, A class oval. 2.6K I rating.
I don't know. I might be in B now because I uninstalled iRacing because my fucking pedal set broke. But I don't know if I just fix it or not. I'm gonna find out. And no, I evidently did not. Shit. I don't know what's causing that, man.